by the way, is an unbelievable talent. I think I'm very cautious when credibility is everything, and I guess your opinion is all you have to go on, or all you have as your badge of honor. I'm usually uh, very calculated, let's say, with how I view a player because I'm aware that so many things can happen. But I think in the case of Lucas Bergvall here, is a genuine generational talent and a fantastic human being, and you realise that as soon as you meet him that this is different. Here's a kid who has the humility of a 18, 19-year-old at the time, but who looks you in the eyes and gives you the impression that this guy can hold his own. And even if he will have the humility to listen to people older than him and show the appropriate respect, there's a kid who'll say, "Give me the football now, and that'll do my talking." And that again, you look at how stable his and fantastic his family environment is. His brothers are players, Rasmus and Theo. His mum was a player. Just a fantastic support network that that matters when you understand that there will be rainy days in football, and it's then who are people surrounded by, and how likely is that to be what you want them to be surrounded by for them to come out maybe of the other side of anything. So with Lucas, it was a player who everybody knew about. I mean, the fact that he trialed at various clubs and for whatever reason things didn't quite go for him there. I know I remember sitting with Johan Langer and discussing him and strategically, as I say, we'd identified could there be any young exceptional talents out there who could actually assist us both in the near future but also longer term for the football club and and real bring that excitement back to the supporters and someone to resonate with. And at the back end of his final season before we signed him in the February, it was on his birthday, his level of involvement at Yeargord and in games, the fact that he was trusted to start and complete games in different positions, you just felt something it all started to piece together. So even again was he was a known quantity. You kind of then looked at this isolated group of games and situation, and you thought, but is are people actually externally acknowledging that this is going on? Can they see it? Do they know? And we were fortunate enough, as I say, fortunate enough. Hopefully, we're also good enough to execute what was a rare opportunity, a small window of opportunity. But based on the work that we'd done, the knowledge that we showed him and his parents that we had about him, his life to that point, his qualities as a footballer, how he would fit, um, that yeah, we were found ourselves as a football club in a position where an 18-year-old travelled to Barcelona, a club that I think even in the last 72 hours or so, Steven Gerrard, in the context of talking about Trent, has referenced if Barcelona or Real Madrid's call, your head gets
Mm.
turned. We had done enough and convinced Lucas and his family enough that we were actually where he wanted to come. So he visited Barcelona and left Barcelona to go back to Stockholm to think. I remember me and Johan were um, on flight radar, uh, looking at whether his flight was actually taking off from Barcelona because we knew what flight he was on. And you were like, is he on that plane? Is he going back or is he just going to stay and is he going to sign? Because let's be honest, the normal timeline, if you go visit somewhere, maybe is then the second club would be you're just going to stay there and sign. So you're kind of like it might be an advantage that we're in this process as the first club, but equally it's easier to leave the first club in the knowledge you're going to the second. It's harder to then say to them, I just want to go think about because they'll be like, but what's the problem? So I remember we were that excited and invested in it that we were like, is he on that plate? And then checking the WhatsApp messages and going, they're on one tick. Mate, this means because you're like, if he gets back to Stockholm, we've got a real chance here because you don't go there if you're just going to sign. And then, yeah, sure enough, the news then came through that. his choice was us. And that, yeah, even though we signed him the day after deadline day in that January, we signed him on deadline day, went to collect him and his parents from Stansted. And yeah, I guess he, as I say, falls into the appreciated gem talent, if you like. But as I say, I think the reality is the window of opportunity now to sign these guys is getting smaller and smaller, and also it's often when they're younger and younger than, for example, when we signed Riyadh, and I think he was 22 as an example. Now, in 2025, you imagine that this transfer, like Lucas at the latest, is probably happening when he's 18.